I'm excited to dive into some fascinating tales of everyday conundrums and moral dilemmas as I read through stories from the online community where people share their experiences, asking if they were indeed the jerk in a given situation. Am I the butthole denying my extended family, my business and money? So, long story short, alcoholic home, abusive mother, enabling father, I'm the scapegoat. I was always outcast because mom was a cunt. Anyway, I leave, make something of myself, come back thinking things will be different, no it's the same. I hit a rock bottom, self-deletion attempts, all alone, family never there, find family in other places. Anyway, I build myself back up, lose the weight, go back to school, buy a bunch of real estate, and now I have a nice portfolio bringing in roughly $18,000 gross a month now. I'm sitting pretty and it's only getting better. So, my siblings catch wind of this, and one of my siblings who I never talk to sits us all down when I come to visit, and bluntly asks me to put all my assets into the family trust, so they can divide it among the family, essentially leeching off everything I've built by myself. Needless to say, I was furious, and kindly, and very politely told him to go. You know what? Now I'm being shunned and shamed for being selfish and basically getting the cast off again. I know I'm not the asshole here, but maybe I am. Maybe I should have handled that differently? Lol. And now for the next story. Am I the butthole? Twitch privacy. So about a year ago, I started streaming to Twitch and would start slowly gain a following. I never wanted my real name to be used or mentioned during stream, and would insist to all who collab with me and know me IRL refer to me as my handle. I have streamed with my boyfriend before, and he has said my real name by mistake many times. I would play it off and try to ignore it, and immediately after stream, I'd delete the whole VOD and just ask him to please be more careful. He continues to repeat this mistake and says he feels horrible for doing it, and is sorry every time when he catches himself saying it. It's honestly scaring me, as I'm gradually gaining a larger following, and I'm about to hit Onek followers. I really don't want my real name to be associated with my stream. Every time I stream with him, I am on edge and do not feel comfortable about streaming with him anymore. I love him so much, and he means the world to me, but I am thinking of asking him if it is okay if we no longer stream together anymore. Am I the butthole? And now for the next story. Am I the butthole for telling my boyfriend to leave after he told me how he felt? F23, my boyfriend is M22. We've been dating for a year now, and I love him. But he has an attachment to me that I don't really have with him. When we're not together, he texts me 247. I miss you, I wish I was with you right now, don't get me wrong. I love him, and love spending time with him. But I like my alone time. I can get past a few texts here and there, but the constant texting to me is obsessive. I'm not the type to be clingy, like he is at times. So, the other day he came over and was looking all sad. I asked him what was wrong, and he says I just get really stressed out when we're not together, and all I do is sit around and do nothing. He's said this before, and usually I just brush it off, but this time, it made me upset because he was treating me like he was mad at me. I told him that I don't feel the same way, as in I'm able to do things and converse with other people when we're not together. I got angry with him when he was giving me an attitude, and told him he could leave if he was going to continue to act this way. He left, and we haven't talked since Monday night. So now I'm wondering if I should have just comforted him. I genuinely can't understand his thought process. Am I the butthole? Now let's check out some of the comments on this post. Not the butthole. Wanting personal space and independence in a relationship is completely valid, and it sounds like your boyfriend's attachment style is a lot more intense than yours. While it's okay for him to express his feelings, it's not okay for him to make you feel guilty or responsible for his emotions, which is what seems to be happening here. You weren't wrong to set a boundary when he started giving you an attitude. It's one thing to miss someone, but it's another to act resentful because they're not constantly available. That's not love, that's emotional dependence. If you still want to be with him, a conversation about healthy boundaries and personal space might help. But if he continues to expect you to manage his loneliness instead of working on it himself, that's a red flag. However, I do wish you could have talked with him sooner rather than always brushing him off. This person definitely has a highly anxious attachment style and definitely needs a therapist, and maybe even meds, while he works through his issues. Not the butthole. Agreed. You definitely set a healthy boundary, and it's important to maintain your independence. Conversation about boundaries could help, but if his emotional dependence doesn't change, that's something to be cautious about. Not the butthole. He is needy and manipulative and insecure. And now for the next story. Am I the butthole? My 28 male wife, 27 female, got offended while I was trying to reassure her. This morning, my wife was getting dressed to go speak at a career panel at her old high school. She was panicking about what to wear. She asked me to use a Tide bleach pen on a white blazer to get a stain out, which I did, but then she realized it looked too ostentatious and decided against it. Then she realized she didn't have anything except a gray blazer and black dress pants and a green top bot. When she came downstairs to show me her outfit, I enthusiastically told her that she looked good, but she wasn't convinced and said that the pants and blazer didn't match very well. Then I tried to compliment her again, and then she asked me not to lie to her. I tried to be as constructive as possible and said, "Don't worry, we can look into getting you matching pants blazers soon," which I think went over well. Then I made her a coffee, and she started to leave. But then when she was walking out the door, I told her, "Remember, they're there for what you say, not for how you look," and she just stared at me like I cut her with a knife. As she was walking to her car, she turned and said, "Geez, I didn't think I looked that bad," and walked away. I tried to clarify, but she wasn't having any of it. I was just trying to reassure her that the students wouldn't judge her for her clothes, a tad wishful, I suppose, and would only care about what she has to say. But it appears my message was lost. Am I the asshole? Now let's check out some of the comments on this post. Remember, they're there for what you say, not for how you look. I know you meant well, but many women will translate this to mean you don't look that good. But that's okay because they're there for what you have to say. I would suggest talking to her and saying you noticed she looked upset, and that wasn't your intention. Ask her what you could have said instead to make her feel better. Remember, they're there for what you say, not for how you look. I read this line and started laughing. Maybe he's only been married a few days if he thinks that's an okay thing to say. Same. Ghost. Knowing full well that she was already not liking her outfit choices, that comment was never going to land as OP intended. He isn't an asshole, just oblivious. The wife isn't an asshole either for taking it how she did. As a woman, I know the comment would have stuck with me, and I would interpret it as, well, even he thinks I look like shit. Having 4 brothers, I can 100% see how he meant I think you look finna great, but I can sense you don't and want to reassure you that the outfit is not what's most important. Duality of man, lol. It would sting, but I can't blame him at all. Girl has to have more than one work-appropriate outfit. When my husband and I were in our early 20s, he used to jokingly tell me if I say something that can be taken one of 2 ways, and one of those will make you angry or sad, I mean it the other way. While doing his best puppy eyes look at me. Yes, even as a woman, navigating subtext is a fucking minefield, lol. Seriously. I used to work at a convenience store, and one day one of my regulars came in looking like she just wanted to crawl into bed. So I was like, "Oh Sheila, you look like you're tired." And she blew up. She took it to mean I was saying she looked like shit, and she held it against me for like a year until I saved her bacon. One day, when she accidentally left her lottery tickets behind. I knew they were hers because she played the same number every day for every drawing for like $30, and her number came out that night. She would have lost out on thousands of dollars because she always played them straight. She came in crying the next day, and I asked her what was wrong, and she told me she'd lost her tickets, and her number came out. And I was like, "Girl, they're right here, you left them behind last night, lol." You, a real one, lol. Context matters. Intentions matters. Feelings matter. They just all don't always go hand in hand. It honestly didn't even occur to me to keep those tickets, lol. A lot of my coworkers and other people I've told that story to told me they would have kept them and called it karma, but I just don't operate that way. I knew whose tickets they were, so I made sure they were safe. The tickets left behind by random customers, that were fair game BC. It was usually people we'd never seen before, nor after, so whoever was on shift got to claim it, lol. My husband does this all the time. He says take it in the spirit in which I intend it. I absolutely do. But he has to learn how words sound when they come out of his mouth, so I tease him mercilessly about how whatever he said sounded. She's speaking at a high school. They are there to judge everything about her. She's speaking at a high school. Oh, you're right. I didn't catch that. And now for the next story. Am I the butthole for telling my 22 male GF 22 female that she needs to understand me and my family for a vacation delay? My parents invited my GF for a vacation, which was planned for tomorrow, but due to some last-minute problems, it was postponed to Saturday. These reasons include: some friend of them need to go through some operations. We haven't finalized everything to travel yet, due to time constraints. I had to go to the dentist to take out my brackets, and I need to, for an unaccepted visit again tomorrow. My aunt has been really sick, and she doesn't receive any helps because many members of our family are extremely lazy, cold, and don't give a f. Yesterday, I told her that as of now, tomorrow was the current planned day to go. If anything happens, Saturday would be our deadline, no more. She canceled some plans with her friends, especially one where they wanted to do a picnic. Just yesterday, she told me that she doesn't feel comfortable anymore with them because they are distant with her and treat her a bit passive-aggressive sometimes. When she told them that she couldn't go because she needed to prepare her stuff, they responded badly, which I obviously despise, and I don't see them as true friends at all. A few hours ago, as soon as I got to know that we weren't going tomorrow, I sent a message to her. She then called me and talked to me really distant, and said, "Why is my family so disorganized, and we should do better." I told her that what happened was a last-minute change due to some situations that we just got to know in the last couple of hours. Then she said, "All right," bye, in an annoyed tone, and ended the call. I get that it's a bummer to cancel stuff, but then realize that it wasn't necessary. But I mean, these reasons are important and are not intentional. They are for a greater good. Am I the butthole for telling her that she should understand these situations? Now let's check out some of the comments on this post. I'm going to say you're the butthole. She has a right to be frustrated with the disorganization here. The reasons you provide are ones that I think could or should have been handled or known ahead of time. For example, some friends needed to go through operation. Were these emergencies or planned? I find it hard to believe that, unless they were done as emergency procedures, you didn't have a few weeks at least notice. We haven't finalized everything to travel yet. Why not? You knew the date you wanted to leave. This is just plain being unorganized. I had to go to the dentist to take out my brackets. Again, wouldn't you be aware of this appointment ahead of time? The only reason that I think isn't disorganization is the aunt being sick. That just happened. But everything else, yeah, you likely knew about it and didn't plan around it. I'd be pissed off too if I planned my schedule, canceled plans, arranged house and pet sitting, potentially. Pat, apologize to your girlfriend and try to be more organized next time. The aunt has been very sick. Sounds like it's not a new state of affairs. Even says nobody helps the aunt, in which case a period of time has to have passed where she's sick, and people have been proven to not help out. It's not like this weekend suddenly they realize the aunt needs help. They could have arranged weeks ahead to ensure the aunt either doesn't need help that day, or to get her help if she needed it, or to go on vacation another time if she needed help, and nobody else could do it. We haven't finalized everything to travel yet, due to time constraints. What? You hadn't had official plans yet? Yeah, obviously you're the butthole. Not having any solid plans is so anxiety-inducing. People can't just drop everything and go. You don't need a step-by-step hour, but literally an outline Ane's idea of what's going on. How can you go? We have no plans, and at the same time be shocked someone's upset at you for that. She ain't mad about the reasons, she mad about the disorganization. Just tell her you get why she's upset. Like and subscribe for more awesome daily Reddit content. And don't forget to hit the bell to get notified when I upload new videos.